with an angry and resentful mind. One cannot clearly see the Dharma with an angry and resentful mind. One cannot know the path of the way. Therefore, for one who knows how to lay down anger, blessing and joy follow them always. When the mind is seized by anger, what should be seen becomes invisible, and the path that should be known grows unclear. Anger may feel relieving for a moment, but it leaves regret and darkness behind. The moment anger is released, however, the mind becomes clear again, and the eyes with which we see the world reopen. Today, notice one small spark of anger as it arises in your heart, and gently let it go. In that very space, blessing and joy will naturally abide. If one can restrain one's own anger and stop it as one would halt a speeding cart, that person truly knows how to govern oneself. They cast off darkness and enter the path of light. Anger is like a cart rushing forward. Left unchecked, it does not stop, and in the end brings harm. But if we can notice it and bring it to a halt, in that very moment, the direction of life changes. The strength to stop one's own mind is far deeper and greater than the strength to defeat another. Today, pause the rushing of the mind for a moment and watch it quietly, like the breath. Within that stopping, the light has already begun. Endure insult and conquer anger. Overcome what is unwholesome with what is good. Defeat stinginess through generosity and falsehood through a sincere heart. When we speak of victory, we often imagine overpowering others, but the victory spoken of here is not a battle outside us. It is a struggle within. Patience in the face of insult. The choice of goodness before wrongdoing. The courage to open a clenched hand and give. The devotion to stand upright without deceit. This is true victory. Today, rather than trying to defeat someone else, try conquering your own mind. That small victory has the power to change your life the most. Do not deceive, do not give rise to anger, and do not crave excessively in the mind. One who lives in accordance with the Dharma in these three ways will reach a place of light even after life comes to an end. Rather than grand practices, what we must first examine are our words, our mind, and our desires. Honesty that does not deceive. Restraint that does not let anger grow. A heart that does not endlessly seek to possess. By setting just these three things upright, the direction of life naturally becomes clear. Today, try keeping even one of them. Do not deceive. Do not grow angry. Ask for a little less. Right there already, a bright path is laid before you. One who continually guards both body and mind and does not harm life, holding a heart of loving kindness, will be born in a place of light, and even there will know no sorrow. This teaching urges us to refrain from taking life, but it also speaks of an inner attitude. When we do not face life with anger or indifference, but meet it with respect and compassion, our lives do not become harsh. A mind that does not harm others ultimately brings ease to oneself. Today, look closely at the mind behind your words and actions. The choice not to harm, that quiet compassion, brings the deepest peace to life. Keep the intention ever bright and awake, and practice diligently by day and by night. Then afflictions will gradually fade away, and the mind, released, will arrive at freedom on its own. To be awake is not a special state, but the simple act of not losing sight of this present mind. When we do not surrender to laziness and examine each day with sincerity, the thoughts that once troubled the mind lose their force. Afflictions are not removed by force. They settle naturally. When the mind is rightly observed, it is all right not to be perfect today, just for a single moment. Turn the mind back toward clarity. That steady returning leads life quietly toward freedom. From ancient times until now, people have always spoken ill of one another. Those who speak much are criticized. Those who speak little are criticized. And even those who remain silent are criticized. In this world, there is nothing that escapes blame. Human judgment is always changing, and a life that satisfies everyone does not exist. Whether we speak or remain silent, whatever choice we make, someone will find fault. What truly matters, then, is not what people say, but with what kind of heart we choose to live, rather than trying to avoid criticism. Choose a path your own heart will not be ashamed of. Amid the noise of the world, when you hold fast to your own measure, the mind does not waver. When desire is harbored, the mind cannot become clear. If one fails to govern that desire, words that slander others and words that praise them alike end up as calculations, aimed at gaining profit and reputation. Though words may appear different on the surface, if their root is desire, their direction is the same, both blame and praise. When born from the wish to display oneself, only further cloud the mind. When desire comes first, words lose their truth. When words grow unclear, the mind is disturbed as well. So what must be examined first is not the other person, but the mind from which the words arise. Today, take a moment to reflect on your own words, whether desire was mixed within them. A single word spoken without craving brings the greatest clarity to the mind. One who is praised for bright wisdom, only such a person is called noble, living in accordance with discipline, the wise. Keep far from idle speech and misguided action, and in the end receive no blame from anyone. Praise heard in the world changes easily, but judgments born of wisdom endure. It is not eloquence that earns respect, but a life that is upright. To keep the precepts is not to bind oneself by force, but to choose not to create regret. As such choices accumulate, words grow fewer, and criticism naturally falls away. Today, rather than seeking praise, try making one choice you will not be ashamed of. Uprightness quietly upheld becomes the deepest form of respect. Like a pure arahant, do not deceive or slander others. Such a person is praised by many, and even those in higher realms recognize their worth. Deception and slander may seem to bring momentary gain, but in the end, they only diminish oneself. A person whose words and actions are clear does not need to put themselves on display to earn trust. Purity is not proven by claims, but revealed through the attitude one has upheld. Today, instead of words that belittle others, choose what preserves your own integrity. As speech becomes clearer, the weight of life grows lighter. Always guard the body with care, and skillfully govern the mind of anger. Turn away from unwholesome bodily acts, and cultivate and let grow acts of virtue. The body is where the mind reveals itself. When the mind is unsettled, actions easily become harsh. Anger, in particular, can undo in a single moment the virtue built up over time. That is why we must first watch the mind and keep it from spilling over into the movements of the body. As harmful habits are reduced and wholesome actions are gradually increased, the direction of life naturally changes. One action today creates the person you will be tomorrow. Set anger down and choose one small act of virtue. Always guard your speech with care and skillfully govern the mind of anger. Cut off unwholesome words of the mouth and continually learn and cultivate words in accordance with the Dharma. Speech appears before the mind is fully seen. In a single sentence, one's inner state is revealed. Words born of anger harm not only others, but in the end oneself. For once spoken, they cannot be taken back. By contrast, words chosen with mindful care soften relationships and lighten the weight of life. Words of the Dharma are not grand or lofty. They are words that do not harm, words one need not be ashamed of. Today, before you speak, pause for a moment. Ask whether these words will bring ease to both yourself and others. Always guard the mind with care, and skillfully govern the heart of anger. Cut off unwholesome thoughts of the mind, and continually keep the path in mind. Before words and actions arise, there is the mind. When the mind becomes unsettled, thoughts grow coarse, and their end is regret. Anger does not come from outside. It is a spark that grows within. If we fail to notice that spark, thoughts spread, and life gradually darkens. To guard the mind is not to suppress it by force, but to quietly observe where this very thought is leading us. When the mind is placed toward the path, thoughts naturally settle. Whenever the mind wavers today, pause and steady the breath, and look at the direction of your thoughts. That quiet clarity will guide life onto a right course. Restrain the body, guard your speech, and gather and protect the mind. Do not give way to anger. Practice the path. To endure insult is the greatest strength. People often look for strength outside themselves. They call winning, getting ahead, and overpowering others true strength. But real strength lies in governing the body, choosing one's words, and gathering the mind as it arises, especially in the face of insult or harsh speech. The ability not to react at once, but to step back even slightly. That restraint is the deepest power. When we do not follow anger, life does not waver, and the path is revealed, not in words, but in actions. When someone's words hurt you today, instead of striking back, pause for a moment. In the space of that restraint, a quiet strength is already growing.